The Pharaoh is strong in his resistance. Even with clear signs presented in front of him, his heart is hard. He will not let the Egyptians go. Exodus 8:1. Then the Lord said to Moses, Go to Pharaoh and say to him, Thus says the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me. 8:2. And if you refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite your entire land with frogs. Something I really enjoy in the Bible is that it's consistent. God's always kind of looking for the same general thing. But his method of achieving what he desires is unique and different in every circumstance. I mean, maybe there's some places where he does the same thing twice, but to me, it seems like every time he wants something, he's got some new method, some new way of doing something, right? I mean, we look at the judgments that we've seen so far from Genesis to Exodus. The world was full of sin, so he got a family on a boat and destroyed the whole world with floods. And then we got Sodom and Gomorrah. They weren't being so good, so rained down fire and brimstone and destroyed the place. Here we have the Pharaoh, not doing so good. What do we get? We get a plague of the water turning to blood, and now we got frogs. It's just everything is unique and different. And in the New Testament, we see this as well. Every time Jesus heals somebody, it's personalized and it's different and specific to the individual. It's not like there's some blanket method that he uses for healing people, or at least not that we read about it. They're all different and they're all very personal to the people that are being healed, and it's kind of cool. Exodus 8:3. And the river shall swarm with frogs, which shall go up and come into your house, into your bedchamber, and on your bed, and into the houses of your servants, and upon your people, and into your ovens, your kneading bowls, and your dough. 8:4. And the frog shall come up on you, and on your people, and all your servants. So this isn't just a couple of frogs hanging out, jumping about, doing their own thing. These frogs are everywhere. I wonder if they're like the biting kind as well, or is that toads? What's the difference between a toad and a frog? I have no idea. Anyway, we got these frogs here. There's a lot of them, and they're everywhere. They're getting into everything. It's like they're trying to mix bread, and there's frogs in it. They open the oven up, it's filled with frogs. I guess you could eat frog meat, that might not be too bad. But it's probably the sheer quantity of them that is making it the real plague. And I'm sure the frogs are probably eating everything that they can get get their tongues on, get their hands on. I guess they don't really have hands. I guess it would be tongues. So they're just in there, they're everywhere, and they're just being a total nuisance. Just, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but there's a lot of frogs and they're everywhere, and it's like you go to lay down, it's probably been a long day, and you've just been fighting with these stupid frogs the whole time. You're trying to get your work done, and there's like frogs all over your paperwork, or stone slates, I guess. And you try to go to bed, and there's just frogs in your bed. It's just, ugh, that would suck. That would suck a lot. I do wonder too, like, was this like a diversity of size of frogs? Was there like little frogs and big frogs? Exodus 8:5. And the Lord said to Moses, Say to Aaron, Stretch out your hand with your rod over the rivers, the streams, and canals, and over the pools, and cause frogs to come up on the land of Egypt. 8:6. So Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land. So here we are, the actions. God said what was going to happen, and Aaron, under the instruction of Moses, by the power of God, performed this miracle, and the frogs covered the land. How crazy is that? Exodus 8:7. But the magicians did the same thing with their enchantments and secret arts, and brought up more frogs upon the land of Egypt. So here we have the magicians with their dark arts and secret enchantments, summoning the frogs upon the face of the earth. They are imitating the miracle that was performed by Moses. Exodus 8:8. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, "Entreat the Lord that he may take away the frogs from me and my people, and I will let the people go that they may sacrifice to the Lord." 8:9. Moses said to Pharaoh, "Glory over me in this. Dictate when I shall pray to the Lord for you, your servants and your people, that the frogs may be destroyed from you and your houses and remain only in the river." So we have the Pharaoh. He can recognize the nuisance of these frogs. He calls Moses and Aaron in and asks them to remove the frogs, and that he'll let the people go so that they can do their sacrifice. But I think there's more to this than that. Exodus 8:10. And Pharaoh said tomorrow, Moses said, "Let it be as you say, that you may know that there is no one like the Lord our God." 8:11. And the frog shall depart from you and your house, and from your servants and your people. They shall remain in the river only. I almost think that the destruction of the frogs is a greater miracle than the creation of them, or they would just keep reproducing, and they would probably be a problem for a very long time. It would be hard to get rid of all the frogs. So in some ways I think this is the greater miracle than the creation of all the frogs that are being a devastating plague to the Egyptians. So the Pharaoh has negotiated to get rid of these tomorrow. But I kind of wonder, is he going to keep his word? Is he going to allow the Israelites to be free to make their sacrifice? I don't think so. Exodus 8:12. So Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moses cried to the Lord, as he had agreed with Pharaoh, concerning the frogs which he had brought against him. 8:13. And the Lord did according to the word of Moses, and the frogs died out of the houses, out of the courtyards and villages, and out of the fields. So here we go. The frogs are now dead. This should be convincing to Pharaoh, right? Exodus 8:14. The people gathered them together in heaps, and the land was loathsome and stank. 8:15. But when Pharaoh saw there was temporary relief, he made his heart stubborn and hard, and would not listen or heed them, just as the Lord had said. Here we have the Pharaoh hardening his heart. He's not going to let these Israelis go. This is just a fluke thing. He's changed his mind. He doesn't want to listen to them. He doesn't want to listen to Moses and Aaron. He just wants to do his own thing. Get back to work. Make more bricks. I do find it interesting and fascinating how there's probably just these like mountains of like corpses of frogs. It's like they're just like piling them all up, and it just smells awful, all these rotten frogs. I would think things would rot really fast in Egypt. It's nice and warm, the bugs, the bacteria, and all that stuff, they're probably all over the place. It would just be a nasty situation. Nice and warm, perfect conditions. Exodus 8:16. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Say to Aaron, stretch out your rod and strike the dust of the ground, that it may become biting gnats or mosquitoes throughout all the land of Egypt." 8:17. And they did so. Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod, and struck the dust of the earth. And there came biting gnats or mosquitoes on man and beast. All the dust of the land became biting gnats or mosquitoes throughout all the land of Egypt. Oh no, not the bugs. In these days, they didn't have the mosquito nets. They didn't have the ultrasonic bug destroyers, those lights that like zap them in restaurants and stuff. I don't know what those are called, the bug destroyer things. And DDT or whatever that chemical is that you smear on your body and it keeps the bugs away. So these people, they are being eaten alive by bugs. It's like when you go out camping and the bugs are bad. It's like that, just only worse. And they're probably swarming everywhere. I bet you can't even see that far ahead of you. There's just swarms of bugs everywhere, getting in your ears and just, not fun, not cool. You don't want to be around these bugs. When they're divine instruments of God, these bugs are probably the worst experience there is. The frogs, yeah, that's a nuisance, right? You know, you're trying to make your bread and you're getting frogs in it. But when you're getting eaten alive by bugs at the same time and everybody's getting eaten alive by bugs, it's like how much work is getting done when you're getting eaten alive by bugs. And even the animals, the livestock. You know, we got these cows out here and they're getting eaten alive by bugs. So this is just a miserable, miserable situation. Not fun, not cool. This just cranked up the agony to 11. Just Exodus 8 and 19. Then the magician said to Pharaoh, "This is the finger of God." But Pharaoh's heart was hardened and strong, and he would not listen to them, just as the Lord had said. Those magicians, those dark practitioners of the dark arts, they were able to copy many of the plagues, many of the miracles that Moses has performed. But they're not able to copy this one. Not sure why. You'd think they'd be into that Beelzebub business, the Lord of the Flies. But it appears that they do not have the power for this one. That this is a miracle that they are unable to copy. To go one step further, the magicians say, "This is the finger of God." The magicians, probably up to this point, they thought this was just the same magic that they were doing. But now they are convinced. Even the magicians, the mages of the dark arts, realize that this is God, that this is divine. But it is not enough for them to convince the Pharaoh. Exodus 8 and 20. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh, as he comes forth to the water, and say to him, 'Thus says the Lord, let my people go, that they may serve me.'" 8:21. "Else, if you will not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of blood-sucking gadflies upon you, your servants and your people, and into your houses. And the houses of the Egyptians shall be full of swarms of blood-sucking gadflies, and also the ground on which they stand." 8:22. "But on that day I will sever and set apart the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarms of gadflies shall be there, so that you may know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth." So first we had the gnat and the mosquito. These are the little bugs. The thing with a mosquito is that it lands on your arm and you can swat it and it dies. A gadfly, on the other hand, is closer to what we have now. And in my area, we have these horse flies, and they're great big suckers. And you swat them and they get back up. They're hard to kill, and that's kind of unpleasant. So now these bigger bugs are going to be swarming the area, making everything unpleasant. And they're much more difficult to deal with. So this is just an increased level of pain and suffering from these bigger bugs. But we have this second aspect, which is that in the land of Goshen, they're not going to be swarmed by them. The land of Goshen is set apart. They are protected, for they are God's people. They are the Israelites. They're not under this judgment. And this will be a sign to the Pharaoh that the people of Israel are protected, and that this is a judgment from God. This is a divine intervention. Just release the people already, Pharaoh. Have you not had enough? Why are you putting up with this? Is this the whole analogy, in for a penny, in for a pound, that you're at a point that you just can't let them go? Is that what it is? Exodus 8:23. And I will put a division and a sign of deliverance between my people and your people. By tomorrow shall this sign be evidence. 8:24. And the Lord did so, and there came heavy and oppressive swarms of blood-sucking gadflies into the house of Pharaoh, and his servants' houses, and in all of Egypt. The land was corrupted and ruined by reason of the great invasion of gadflies. So the last plague was able to convince the magicians that this was God. So now that it's been taken to the next level, it should have an impact on Pharaoh, right? That Pharaoh will be ready to yield to the demands. Well, we'll see. Exodus 8:25. And Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, Go, sacrifice to your God here in the land of Egypt. 8:26. And Moses said, It is not suitable or right to do that, for the animals the Egyptians hold sacred and will not permit to be slain are those which we are accustomed to sacrifice to the Lord our God. If we did this before the eyes of the Egyptians, would they not stone us? So Pharaoh is looking to meet him halfway. He's looking to kind of compromise a little bit. It's like, well, maybe you guys could do your sacrifice here in Egypt. Moses says that's not going to work. The animals that we sacrifice would offend your people, offend the Egyptians. I don't know which animal they're referring to. The Egyptians, they worship a whole lot of different things, especially in that time. So it's easy to understand how this would offend them, and then this would escalate. So that scenario is just not going to really work out well. It's not going to work. I don't think this would be something God would compromise on either. I don't think it would be okay for them to perform their sacrifice in the land of the Egyptians. But we'll see. We'll see what the response will be. Exodus 8:27. We will go 3 days' journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to the Lord our God, as he will command us. 8:28. So Pharaoh said, I will let you go, that you may sacrifice to the Lord your God in the wilderness. Only you shall not go very far away. Entreat your God for me. We kind of see this dialogue going back and forth, and the Pharaoh really does not want Moses to leave. He wants him to stay there. Oh, you can go, just don't go very far away. Pharaoh is very worried that the Israelites will just leave and never come back. He likes their labor. He likes the work they do. The Israelites, they make the Egyptians very prosperous. The Pharaoh doesn't want to lose that. And even in these real tough times, under these severe plagues that he is enduring, he doesn't want to let the Israelites go. If he lets them go, things will be okay, but he doesn't want to do that. So he keeps trying to negotiate more favorable terms. Give the Israelites as little as possible while keeping them in bondage, working for the Egyptians. Exodus 8:29. Moses said, I will go out from you, and I will entreat the Lord that the swarms of blood-sucking gadflies may depart from Pharaoh, his servants, and his people tomorrow. Only let not Pharaoh deal deceitfully any more in not letting the people go to sacrifice to the Lord. 8:30. So Moses went out from Pharaoh and entreated the Lord. So there we go. Moses has permission to go and do these things, to go do the sacrifice. But the people of Egypt are not free yet. They are still in bondage. It's just Moses has gone to do that sacrifice. Exodus 8:31. And the Lord did as Moses had spoken. He removed the swarms of the attacking gadflies from Pharaoh, from his servants and his people. There remained not one. 8:32. But Pharaoh hardened his heart and made it stubborn, this time also, nor would he let the people go. Moses was able to do his negotiation. He was able to end this attack of the gadflies. But the Pharaoh did not keep his word. He kept the people, the Israelites, in bondage. He would not let them go. So this story is not over yet. But this chapter is.